Hello, everyone. Welcome to my talk, Behind Enemy Lines, Engaging and Disrupting Ransomware Web Panels, or also known as Vangelis, that's me, in ransomware land. This talk is rated PG-17, so if anyone is under 18, first of all, kudos, because you are in a casino that has an age limit of 21. It is rated PG-17 for two reasons. The one is that you're going to see some mentioning of drugs and cursing. And two, because I like saying fuck and shit a lot. Sorry about that. This is me. I'm the CTO and co-founder of a company named Atropos. We specialize in penetration testing on energy, green energy, EV and PV, and other stuff. I have been a security researcher for the past 10 years, and my main interests are API on IoT, and for the past couple of years, C2 for malware and ransomware. How did I end up going after ransomware? Last year, I did a DEF CON talk about malware C2, and I wanted a bigger challenge. So could it be any harder? Marcus Hutchins, I think you all know who he is, said that cyber threat intelligence is such a wild industry. Irregular intelligence, everything is handled by the government, whereas in CTI, some dude named Brad, who got really baked one night, YOLO'd himself into a major apps backend server. We have two things in here. Let's start with the one who has legal implications. Who the fuck names his son Brad? I'm Vangelis. I did that. I got into, or kinda got this into some major apps backend server. I am not getting baked. I don't like drugs. I kind of like my occasional alcohol. But I do have a signal chat with those three people. If you're going to share anything about my talk, please share this slide. I promised to them that I'm not going to publish it, so please do. First is Felipe Solferini, my really good friend and partner in pretty much all my research. He's the person that I'm constantly blaming. The second one is Iskuri One, who is a legend in bootloaders. He's a multiple times BlackCat and DEF CON speaker. And third one is No Thanks. He's a multiple times DEF CON speaker, and he's a ninja hacker and an elite world-renowned artist. So all three of them on our single chat have decided to poke me to go after ransomware. This is how it went. On the malware, which was the past year, I was able to pawn or get access or get their source code on pretty much 50% of the malware panels that I have seen. So I pawned 18 out of 36 panels. On ransomware, I looked at 140 panels, and I kind of find something on 3.5. I'm going to do a quick intro to ransomware. If you don't know what ransomware is, you're probably on the wrong conference. Ransomware is a type of malicious software that tries to encrypt everything and then asks for the victim to pay a ransom fee until a deadline. If the deadline is met, either the data is gone forever, the ransom agrees, or they are trying to extort you in another way. How ransomware works? There are several steps. The first one is malware distribution and infection. The second one is command and control, so you somehow got access and you are connecting. Discovery and lateral movement, so that you can know the whole network. Data extraction, data encryption, extortion, as we're going to see, there are multiple ways of extortion. And the final step is resolution. either way. You either pay and get it back, or you recover, or, I don't know, you pray to recover. Okay. That slide will sound like I'm pitching you for ransomware. I hate them. I'm pretty sure they also hate me. I'm going to say they're good, but fuck them, I hate them. So the ransomware market is the faster growing type of cybercrime. Their payout in 2023 hit and moved over the psychological boundary of 1 billion. It went up to 1.1 billion. They're a highly professional industry. Fuck me, I hate them. They're just really good at what they're doing. It seems that the binders are falling off, so they are now after hospitals, they're after pretty much everything, they're after critical national infrastructure, and WannaCry opened a can of worms that we cannot put back. Again, I hate them. Ransomware gangs, they're really highly hierarchical with a clear structure. They are organized crime. They have a tech part that we're going to see on the next slide, but they have also ransom negotiators and customer support. They have money launderers and payment processing because they're processing a lot of money. And they also have collaborations and partnership because who doesn't want to partner with a ransomware gang? The tech part is divided into this part, and all of them are really greatly paid. They're malware developers, exploitation developers who can also possibly develop either zero-day or end-day exploits. They are people who are experts in data theft and leaks, and they have people in operational security and on infrastructure and hosting. I want to make sure to emphasize that they pay a lot of money on their infrastructure and hosting, because imagine the scenario that they have properly hacked, moved their way in, and they're extracting the data of a billion-dollar company, and then their hosting sits the bed. They just lost a huge payday. So their infrastructure and hosting is really well taken care of. Let's move to how they work. The first one is pretty much extinct right now. They're lone wolves. At some point in early 2019, 2018, there were some people who were doing everything. They're initial access brokers, which are the people who sell access to other companies, so they specialize into just penetrating systems and giving them access. They have all-in-one ransomware groups. That's exactly what it says. They go from exploiting to everything, and they also have ransomware as a service, because capitalism, and they want it to go to as the service model. How ransomware as a service are being paid? The first one is flat monthly fee. You just pay a flat monthly fee, and you have access to the ransomware. Affiliate programs with a monthly % of the profit. So if you hack something, you have a percentage of you give off a percentage of the profits to the ransomware gang. One-time license, which is not an as a service, but some people do it. Pure profit sharing, payments made to the RAS. So it's a turnkey solution. That's what they say. I'm not going to use that term. They do everything for you, and you just exploit them, and they process the payment and everything else. The most well-known were Lockbit, BlackCat, Clop, and some more that I'm not going to mention. This is my only graphic. I'm a terrible graphic designer, as you can see, but I wanted to explain what a C2 is. The C2 server is the server that communicates with the user via the cloud, and on the very top, there is a hacker. Does everyone understand why that guy is a hacker? Because he wears a hoodie. That's it. If you wear a hoodie, you're a hacker for pretty much everyone. How ransomware extort their victims. First, they establish communication with victims. Talks, Telegram, self-hosted chat on onion services. Let's keep that in mind because we're going to see some of them later. Then they lay their terms and they extort victims in multiple ways. That's a four-way extortion. The first is ransom on data. Obviously, they have their data, they have encrypted their data, so they're extorting the victim to pay to get their data. Release their data, that's the second way. So if you don't pay, we're going to release the data. The third way of extortion is DDoS the actual machine or do more stuff with internal knowledge obtained from the data. And the fourth one is something that we are looking and seeing more and more in 2024, is communicate with the customers of the victims or the stakeholders and notify them that they were pwned. Let's set some goals. What we are going to do in this talk: identify some C2s and data leak sites, try to find vulnerabilities, identify people behind them, try to disrupt panels and threat actors. And I cannot stress the three last enough. Do not disturb active LEA investigations in any way. Don't be a Mallox, and don't get banned. Those two, I also have them as a sticker. Come with me, I can give you those stickers because it's the motto of my life. Don't be a Mallox, don't get banned. Last year, I was joking around that I will end up in the black van, and it was mostly a tongue-in-the-cheek joke because I was after malware. This risk right now is a totally realistic risk that I will end up in a black van because I'm trying to disrupt criminal rigs that have millions, if not tens of billions of profits, and they are going after me because I'm going after them. But a more probable risk is that. I don't know how many of you have woken up with this message, but I have woken up more than once with this message that government-backed attackers may be trying to steal your password. And I want to state something. If any government-backed attacker wants to burn their $1 million zero-day just to get access to my password, I'm going to delete my son's photos and give everything to them for $100K plus VAT. Like, that's not a proper use of their 0 days. Also, prepare for failure. This is no joking around. Their security is better than pretty much all the Fortune 500 companies that I have seen. So I'm not expecting a lot from this research. How am I going to identify panels? Those two really good sites gives you a really good insight on ransomware, ransomlook.io and ransomware.live. There's also Deep Dark CTI and lots, and I mean lots of doom scrolling in Twitter, monitoring CTI companies for new posts. I had to convince my wife that I was on Twitter for research and not because I don't know. I failed on that task, though. What are the limitations? The C2 have a terribly small lifetime, so any C2 will be online only during the attack lifetime, and then it will go down. The data leak sites are really well looked after, and they're also behind Tor and Onion, so I would need to pass it more hurdle to go over more hurdles to test them. What's the methodology? I'm going to ignore the distribution and reversing altogether. One, because I'm a simpleton. I don't understand reversing. I don't understand assembling. And two, because I hate assembly due to a college teacher that I had that made me hate assembly. Assembly is good. If anyone wants to do it, go for it. You reversers are really good people and really smart people. What I'm going to do is run the malware in a sandbox, extract all URL, and use data leak URLs found via CTI. And of course, I'm introducing you to the Toyota Corolla of penetration testing, which is called web application penetration testing. It's neither quick nor sexy, but it will get you from place A to place B and potentially give you some access to ransomware panels from time to time. My toolset is DIRSearch, FFUF, BurpSuite, the trifecta of Tor, Tor Expert Bundle and Tor Browser plus Tor SOCs, Coffee, and you run several droplets on DigitalOcean because I'm getting banned altogether. So done in senses so that I could find something beneath Tor and lots of coffee. My methodology is black box web application testing. I'm going to use any acquired information for furthering my attacks, interact with the data lake and chat websites, and get a ticket by intentionally infecting chatbox. And by ticket, we're going to see that afterwards on the chat, they want to identify you somehow, so you need a ticket, which is a hash. The initial part, the first part, was DIRSearch and FFUF with a custom word list through Tor SOCs. Only 15 URLs gave something interesting. I had to move to manually check all of them. 5 of them were WordPress. A couple of them were leaking IP addresses, and some of them were cheeky. One of them had a server status that told me to fuck off. The other one told me to, I don't know, I'm using the N-word. I'm not going to use it because I respect everyone. And my good friends on Abyss said, just business, nothing personal. Keep that in mind. And let's get, as with Alice in Wonderland, let's get the damn bunny by the hand and move inside the ransomware land. Our first victim is called Mallox, also known as Target Company, Fargo, and Toknichi. The first appearance was on June 2021. It targets mostly, if not only, Windows machines. It exploits MS SQL by brute forcing SA accounts and lately exploiting 0 days. And it has hundreds of victims. That's their website. You can see that there are a lot of victims. And if you go to /Mallox private sign in, you're going to see that they want a private key to log in and start your chat. So I infected something and said, hello. I also ran a lot of FFUF. They had the server status exposed, which was leaking URLs and server IP addresses. It was also leaking tokens to check other people's messages. So I could see other people's messages, but that was not fun enough. Can anyone guess where the vulnerability in here is? No? Well, as you can see, they have a reply ID, which is reply. It kind of quotes the message. And it has an IDOR. So the parameter was an incremental integer. I had to write a Python script. I'm writing Python. That's the best that I could do. And extract, quote, all the messages. First, that guy has a clear God complex. I work according to my own schedule, which does not change at anyone request. As soon as I see the payment, I will send the decryptor. I have a well-maintained business that is not to be disturbed by any more that could not secure their machines. Oh, the irony. I was a special K. I don't know what this is. I guess it's something of a drug for a couple of days. So fuck off and do the work I'm paying you to do. So that's probably on one of his employees. Employees' messages, boss, the budget is 150K, 50,000. Do you agree? They don't need much data. And employees altogether, boss is not in a good mood today. Let's be careful. And I also got 2 decryptors for people that were actively ransomed right now, right there. That's who I was able to identify, boss on the top. Panda, Jessica, Mallox, and Ismail were the employees. And after a day, the chat was disabled, the message was not delivered. What did I get? I got internal knowledge of the team, some decryptors. Once the admin got up or sober, it was fixed. Result, yeah, I was really verbose. I'm not happy with that, but I got something out of Mallox. Second, BlackCat or Alpha V. BlackCat is also known as Noberus and Alpha B. Their first appearance was in 2021. It's known as a ransomware as a service. They're Rust-based because they're sexy. They're also Rust-based on the server. They are using the triple extortion scheme. The Rust loader that we're after was researched and reversed by Andrei Lapunceanu of Bitdefender Labs. It was targeting only Mac. It was developed in Rust, hence the Rust loader name. And the C2 was used on all of BlackCat malware. There's the article from Andrei, and those are the CNC URLs. Of those URLs, one was online, but it was always returning 404. So I added it on my loop of continuous scanning, and that thing scans everything every 5 minutes, I think, or 2, I don't remember. And 2 days later, it downloaded the documentation. One, the clients, so you could get all the clients from their BlackCat. And 2, the tasks, so you could also take all the tasks and see. Unfortunately, the endpoints were not available right now, not right now, the moment that I was testing. So I had to automate the test, the check, and put that in the loop too. I had to wait, and I mean wait a lot, but that was automated. I didn't have to do anything at the time being. And after a couple of days, I was able to extract 197 commands in 2 minutes on a 4-hour window that C2 was alive. That means that the attacker was putting up the C2 only when he needed it, and then it was disabling it. One of the commands that I saw was that, not XXX environments. It had the company name environments. And when you see that someone has zipped the AWS and the GCP environments of a company, you switch to incident response. I identified 4 companies. All of them were cryptocurrency related. Crypto is not cryptocurrency. Crypto is cryptography. 2 of them were unicorns. I notified and acknowledged the issue. None of them was ransomed. What did I gain from that? I got all the info and understood the lateral movement. I stopped the whole campaign. 4 companies were not ransomed, and BlackCat took a big enough financial hit. And a month later, under increasing federal scrutiny, BlackCat ransomware gangs pulls exit scam on its way out. I'm not saying that I am to blame for that, but I think I played a role into doing that scam, into them doing that scam. So all in all, not bad. Third, and pretty much last, is Everest. It's active for the last 4 years. They only have high-profile targets like NASA. They moved from high-profile targets on the past year. They pivoted to initial access broker. Then they pivoted to just data leak. They're graded as highly sophisticated by multiple researchers, and they're also notoriously known for being paid but ignoring the whole thing and releasing the data, although they were paid. This is their website. Is anyone familiar with that website? Can you guess what this is? This is WordPress. It looks like WordPress because it is WordPress. And it's 5.5.3. This is the login. This is the README because it also has the README on there. So it's released on 2020. It's 4 years old. It has 42 vulnerabilities identified. This is WP scan. I had to do it via TorSox. Unfortunately, none of those 42 vulnerabilities were exploitable by simpleton like me. I was able, though, to check the error reporting. And the RSS, we can see, one, their reporting is on. Two, they're running WordPress on a Windows machine. And three, they're using Vertigo Serve. You can see C program files, Vertigo Serve. They're also having the Open Directory, so you could see a lot of things. You could see a couple of zips, nothing interesting though. And they also had an exposed PHP myadmin in there. So I did what every extra big hacker do and Google the default password. The password is Vertigo, but unfortunately, PHP myadmin said, you're hungry for nothing because this is not the password. And this was my talk up until 20th of July, plus some more stuff, plus some takeaways. Then my 9-year-old sat at my computer and started reading on my open tabs. I have 200 open tabs. And at some point, he says, oh, that's a really strange name to name your server. Why would you name it Vertigo? I'm like, what? It's Vertigo server. No, it's Vertigo. Ah, fuck. This means only one thing, right? I used root and Vertigo, and so I was admin in WordPress, and I had to find a way to become admin in the whole web server, right? So I wrote a plugin. Fuck this shit. I downloaded a cell, I zipped it, I named it cell.zip, uploaded it as a plugin, and this is the actual IP. It's still live. It shouldn't be, but that's life, I guess. I wanted it seized, but it seems that it's not there. I also probably prematurely used the I'm the admin meme because I'm the fucking admin in there. I did a lot of things that all of the red teamers in here will kill me if they know what I did, because I'm not a red teamer, so I did what I had to do to get to there. We can see that it's a Russian server 2012, and their biggest crime is not that they're ransomware, it's that they haven't paid for WinRAR. Dude, you're making, I don't know, 5 million per year. Pay the fucking RAR. What did I do? Database export, username extract, remote command execution on the server. I got hold of their onion secret keys. I hope they're going to be seized at some point later today or in this week. I had lots and lots of logs to analyze. I think I'm not exaggerating that saying, yeah, I'm good in that. And again, up until Saturday, this was my talk. I also had a couple of takeaways and shit, but I read on Black Angels. They emerged in May 2022. They only target high-profile targets. They're Babook-based, which means they are reusing the Babook ransomware that was leaked a year ago. They're focused on Linux and ESXi, and they received a record of 75 million ransom. You read about it last week. And then Rakesh Krishnan comes and says, this is their live IP. This was posted on Friday evening, and I was flying to here my Saturday afternoon. Who wouldn't do what I just did, right? It's still live. You can see it. If you go to the 443, you're going to see the whole web panel and everything. But if you go to port 80, you're going to see that it has a different web root, that if you go to .env, you can see the app secret and the database username and password. I would have a live demo, but you can do it. That's the web page. It's .env. Go. You're all hackers. Do what you feel with it. The env file was exposed. Internal URLs were exposed. Some error logs were exposed. And one message was mentioning 5.5 million payment. That was also exposed. Yeah, I only had 6 hours, so that was fast, but that's all that I could do. And we're getting to the closing of that talk. I didn't have anything else. That's it. And it's what we call the ethical dilemmas and how you want to approach everything. I never wanted to see myself as a vigilante or someone who wants to go after the baddies. But as a good friend said, I have to give them a taste of their medicine. And I wanted to see myself and present myself as the Socratic fly or the gadfly. It's that fly that reestablishes the status quo and tries to get after everyone and understand and try to make them understand that they're bad. This is my final slide. Some of us fail and fail miserably for years. Some of you succeed and succeed really good. What I want to say is I'm a really big fan of VX Underground. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they have said that these are the 5 horsemen of the apocalypse of internet. For the past 2 years, I have raised myself from my sofa and went after all of them. 4, 5th at some point is going to be. I went after the Stalkerware Spyware on B-Sides London 2022 talk. I went after Stealer and Botnet on my last year's DEF CON talk. And this talk on BlackCat and DEF CON, I went after ransomware. I'm not going to say that I won all of those battles, but I can say that I have looked directly into those horsemen's eyes, and I was never feared. Thank you. We have like 5 minutes of questions if anyone wants to ask something. No one?
Are there, sorry, it was too loud. So are there any regulations that prevent you to go after this ransomware gangs?
Pretty much every regulation.
Huh? Yeah, meaning they can attack companies, but companies can't attack them.
No.
Meaning there might be some regulations.
It's considered hacking back. It's not legal. It's illegal in many states, many countries, and yeah, all of the regulations are against it.
Okay. So how do you get past that then?
I ignore it.
Huh?
I ignore the regulation altogether.
If there is no other person, I will ask another question.
You can ask, and there's another question.
So what do you think about possibly hiring some more red team guys to help you out, since you mentioned it's not your specialty? Seems like you should get some more firepower on your side.
I do have some red team people that help me from time to time, and I'm really grateful for them. But this is not something that I do as a part of my company and everything, so it's kind of strange to tell anyone to help.
Right, so it's kind of experimental?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
It's only experimental.
Understood.
Like, have you seen this in big companies, like Fortune 100 companies, this ransomware, like companies that have security budgets of more than $1 billion, are they also prone to ransomware?
Yes. Yes, pretty much everyone is prone to ransomware.
Do you have examples?
I have NDAs.
What's that?
I have no disclosure agreements with many, so I cannot really give you an example.
First, I want to say you have a great sense of humor. This was very,
Thank you.
very entertaining. I was wondering, have you received any credible threats?
Yes.
Or do you fear for your safety on a regular basis?
Enough.
What kind of steps do you take to protect yourself and your family? Or do you worry that
No,
this is
I don't
worth
take
the
any
risk?
steps. As I said, the simpleton, I have decided that I'm going to ignore most of them, and if something is really credible, I'm going to see how I handle it when this happens. But yet again, I'm taking a calculated risk, but I'm really bad at math.
Well, what you're doing is great.
Thank you.
So for info stealers and the ransomwares, have you looked at some of the API calls that they do in the C2s, and do you see any trends between all of them? Are they same, a little bit different?
For the info stealers, yeah, I have done extensive work on their API. You can see my previous research. For the ransomware, unfortunately, I don't have access to most of the ransomware because CTI community is not really sharing openly sharing a lot of ransomware stuff. So, yeah, the only API that I have looked after is Rust Loader, and I was able to find some stuff. I haven't seen at any other Rust ransomware C2s. Thank you, guys.